Welcome back, everybody, to another CALLOUS Invitationals play-in round. This one I have actually bothered to check, and it's the Magma round. Last game I forgot to check what bracket it was, but this one is the Magma bracket. And today we have Endill versus Hellpowna, who is under the alt Beware of Coco, commonly known alt of his. Endill is an ADV main who broke onto the scene, I would say, relatively recently. Not super recently, but within the last probably year or two, I would say, is kind of really came to prominence then. Endill has pulled off multiple wins in ADV tours on Smogon and in other places, as well as just kind of finishing high in a lot of different tournaments and doing well in even in last year's SPL starter. So Endill has really assured himself as, really kind of put himself out here as a strong ADVer. Hellpowna, I don't know if he's known for ADV as much as he is DPP. I could be wrong on that. I know he does know his way around ADV quite well, has a good passion for the tier. He's a fantastic DPP player, so you can imagine it translates into this generation as well. And Hellpowna is also known, I'm told, for using relatively spicy teams, so I'm looking forward to that. Without further ado, let's get right into this one. I'm going to put it on slow mode, and we're going to see lead meta from Endill and lead Coon from Coco, or from Hellpowna. I'm just going to call him Coco for this. Wow, so very early boom. Endill wants nothing to do with Suicune, so that's a very interesting turn one. If you're Coco, I'm just going to keep calling him Coco because it's easy to say. If you're Hellpowna, you're basically going to learn a lot from that turn. Meta booming Coon turn one. Well, you're not learning a lot because it is Houdini, and Houdini can mean a lot, but he wants the Coon gone, basically, is what you learn from that turn. So Endill's team doesn't like Suicune that much, I suppose. So Coco should definitely, put that one on the radar. We're going to see Skarm come out here versus Raji in a very unfortunate turn 2 Thunder Miss. That is the catch-22, I suppose. I mean, you can't use Thunder super reliably. I would still say it's the right move on sub CM Raji because it does have a 60% paralysis rate with Serene Grace, which we are just witnessing right here. Coco goes for a very early Ice Punch, no boosts, and actually hits the Skarm and freezes it. 22%, so Endill should be in the calc looking at that percentage for damage to see what set this Raji is. Looks fairly offensive from that Ice Punch. I think could even be modest based on that Ice Punch damage. But yeah, a very early freeze. Endill not going to be too happy about that one, but then in the end, he did get the Thunder Miss, so I suppose it's kind of the law of averages showing up here early. So we're going to see T-Tar coming out here now on turn 5, so thank God there's sand. So Thunder again misses. This is it's the horrible dilemma associated with using Thunder. And we actually see that it's a Fire Blast T-Tar. So Coco switched to Claydol expecting Earthquake. Expected Earthquake from T-Tar. And so we thought Claydol would be a free switch and take no damage at all. But of course, he did take Fire Blast damage. I guess with Coon gone, he probably doesn't have too many amazing switches to Special Tar. Special Tar is significantly better when there's no bulky water on the opposition side. So we're going to see that Claydol here is faster than Tar. And it actually EQs for 57% on what, and I mean Tar is special, so it could be max HP, so that's a big chunk, 57%. I'm willing to bet this Claydol is probably max attack and quite a lot of speed as well. It did take a chunk from Fire Blast as well. It might actually be really kind of frail. So we're going to see how Tar retaliates. He does go for a crunch. Endill goes for a crunch and hits it for 70, so that's a fairly frail Claydol. But of course the Claydol is still around, and Coco now goes for spin. Wow, nice move. It's a ballsy move. Goes for spin, very confident Endill's not staying in. I suppose realistically, Endill is never staying in there, actually, now that I think about it, because, you know, you can see he just loses tar on that turn gratuitously. So he switches it out to Skarm. Probably going to try and wake it up here. And of course, Coco's aware of that, so he just goes for a rapid spin on the switch. So Coco going to go back to Rachi here, and with tar being at 49%, Endill's going to need a new Thunder switch in. Goes to Blissey, that'll work. But it depends on what Rachi said this is. So Thunder does finally hit this time, and it does get the 60% paralysis that it is favored to get, which is crazy when you think about it. Such a ridiculous attack, 120 base power, and it's favored to get paralysis as well. That's why Serene Grace is just, it's crazy. First you see Blissey, the Snatch variant of Blissey. So this was popularized by Astamatitos, one of ADV's, probably ADV's best ever innovator. Not too long ago, I would say it was popularized within the last year, probably within the last year. Snatch Blissey. Snatch is CMs, Snatch is substitutes. So this is exactly why it's here, to beat things like Jirachi. But because of leftovers and because of the paralysis that Blissey's facing, I'm actually not confident that this Blissey beats the Rachi. I think the Rachi is heavily favored to win this 1v1. It also wins the PP stall war too. Well, not with the paralysis, but yeah, I mean, Rachi is definitely not too pressured by this Blissey set here. Yeah, so we're going to see how this plays out. So Blissey probably prompted to go for a soft boiled here fairly quickly. No, he was actually going for a Snatch there. So very unfortunate for Endill. Gets the 25% full paralysis. And now he's going to be prompted to go for, he goes for a Snatch again. And again gets unlucky, okay. So if you're not familiar with how this scenario plays out for Coco, with Jirachi, what you do here is you typically get to about +3, which is 2.5. So once this hits 2.5, then you pretty much force Blissey to soft boiled after every 2 ice punches. But because it takes 2 seismic tosses to break the substitute, you actually end up pretty much negating damage. So this is basically where the Jirachi starts to snowball, and it becomes very difficult for the Blissey player to actually win at this point. That's if he can't snatch more CMs. If he snatches CMs, he's in a good position. This time he gets the snatch off, but Thunder comes out, so that was actually an unlucky turn for Coco, I suppose. Yeah. Just going to let this one play out, and I'll kind of comment on it periodically. So yeah, we're going to see Ice Punch now. So what Coco's trying to do here is he's basically just trying to break the substitute. He's not going to be going for any more substitutes, so that's going to be the last time that Blissey is behind a substitute in front of this Jirachi. Now he's going to go for a Combine. So again, Endill gets the Snatch prediction right, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't get the Snatch off because of the paralysis, and that paralysis has been very unfortunate for him recently. Or not recently, but just in the last couple of turns. We're going to see Thunder come out. Again, a little bit unlucky on Coco's side. I think he's missed a lot of those, but he's also been getting some seriously fortunate RNG as far as the paralysis is concerned. At this point, you're looking at Jirachi behind a sub with +3/+3, or +4/+4. So if you're the Jirachi player, if you're Coco, what you do here is you do not need to CM again for a while. You can actually Ice Punch and kind of force the soft boils, and then you can CM on the soft boil turn where it's where you don't have to play this kind of will he snatch, will he Combine game that you're seeing right now. Blissey does try snatch, and Coco actually Combines here. I think it's a misplay from Coco. I don't agree with the Combine there. There's no reason to Combine at that when Blissey's at that high HP. And what you're seeing here as well is you're seeing like Blissey at +1 Spit F and special attack. Well, not special attack, but at +1 Spit F is, you know, now it's a super bulky Spadef mon now. Like the Spadef on it, once it hits +1, is ridiculous because of that massive HP stat. So you can see Jirachi Calm Mind again. This Jirachi is 1 off max here. Any kind of RNG and it's going to snowball. And just as I said that, we see an Ice Punch crit, but Endill does go for the right play there, goes for a soft boiled. He doesn't want to take any of these risks. So now Blaze is going to snatch, and he's going to get Ice Punched. So very smart move from Coco there to Ice Punch. Predicted that snatch for sure, and now he can probably Calm Mind here if he wants to. But he goes for a crit, or he goes for an Ice Punch and gets a crit. Some serious RNG for Coco this game so far. And this could be the beginning of the end. It does finally hit a Thunder. Oops. Yeah, it does finally hit a Thunder, and this could be the beginning of the end. You could even just want to go for an Ice Punch here. No reason to take risks. Could just Ice Punch this, and then, or yeah, you're going to go for a Substitute here. Yeah, and then you could Ice Punch here for the 2-hit KO, and just go for another Substitute in between that second Ice Punch. Or you can just Thunder, it depends, doesn't really matter. He is going to eat the Hydra, maybe even might eat 2 of those, so he does miss the Thunder. So this is why I was saying you can Ice Punch again, because it just, you know, saves you missing all these Thunders. So Starmie T-Bolts, and as we had just discerned, you actually needed to Hydro there, because the second Hydro might not even break. So that Thunderbolt was a bit weird from Endill. Goes for 1 more. And Jirachi is going to put the sub up. So this is, it's looking fairly grim for Endill. I'm fairly convinced this game is over at this point. It does finally hit the Thunder now. Coco hits the Thunder, and that should just be the end of the game. There's no way the last for Endill can do anything here. Yeah, Claydol probably gets outsped, honestly. And Ice Punch will definitely KO from here. It'll also definitely KO a Tar at 50%. So Endill probably just going to hit the forfeit button here. Brings that Tar just to be a good sportsman. And Ice Punch will take out the Tar for the win. So yeah, that game was basically an archetypal example of how sub CM Rachi can snowball, even against a player of Endill's quality. And you're looking at, you know, this team is about as well equipped for sub CM Rachi as any team. I mean, it's got spikes, it's got, this is an offensive variant of Starmie. You've got a Claydol, you've got a T-Tar, you've got a Metagross. You know, there are 3 of the mons that you kind of need, 3 of the mons that fall into the category of the mons that actually counter sub CM Rachi, and yet it snowballed anyway, and this game was over, you know, 10-15 turns ago. So, you know, it's one of those mons, and it's why it's so high up on the VRs this year as opposed to other years, because it has just been relentless in competition, and especially on ladder too. If you're using any kind of janky team that isn't standard or doesn't have any kind of standard mons on it, you will run into these kind of gatekeepers like sub CM Raji, which will just punish the avant-garde. You need to make sure that if you're using teams, they have counters for threats like this. Yeah, so game 1 goes to Coco. Let's see how game 2 goes.